It is a day North Stars fans have waited over 7 years for. Emotions will be high when the old Minnesota team takes their first ride on the Wild side.
That is because the truth. Stop at a light that shine bright blue, and where you've been is still in view. You stopped at nothing at your first chance. Now it's nothing like when it began. When it began. When it began. When it began.
Another wait is finally over as XL Energy presents Hockey Night in Minnesota. The fans are cheering for their new hometown team, the Minnesota Wild, as they are set to face off against the old guys from town who now reside in Dallas, Texas, the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild. Tom, it's right here on the towel. The next stage has begun. Emotional day. I know for you, being a former North Star, lots of emotions right now.
Mike, there is right now. Even hearing as the players are coming in there, the cheering kind of sends a chill through your body. But this is a very important game for both of these teams, especially Minnesota. They know how important it is. The Dallas Stars, the former North Stars, of course, coming back here for the first time. We've waited 7 long years. Tonight's the night.
Tonight is the night. Jeff Nielsen knows both sides of the coin very well. He grew up watching the North Stars. Now he plays for the Minnesota. Also knows both sides very well. Last 2 seasons, he was a Dallas Star, and he will tell you, just like everyone else knows, Mike Modano is still one of the best in the National Hockey League. You remember when he broke into this league.
And you know, Mike, it's interesting because a lot of the success of the North Stars are because of this youngster coming in '88. The success of the Dallas Stars can be attributed a great deal to what he's done. And the one thing about him is he's never lost sight of where he came from. Both on the ice and off the ice, he is exactly the same. He cares about people.
This team had their heart taken away from the fans when they went down to Dallas, the North Stars. But you know what? The hearts are all healed, and the cheers tonight will be for the Minnesota Wild, because history will be made here this evening as the Stars skate for the first time against the new guys in town. It's coming up next.
And a former hockey great with the University of Minnesota and the Minnesota North Stars. He won the Stanley Cup with the New Jersey Devils in '95 and retired from the NHL in '97 as a member of the Dallas Stars. He's returned to the state of hockey and is now considered the Minnesota Wild's #1 fan. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Hockey Hall of Famer Neil Broughton. Wild fans, it's time now. So everybody join me. Let's play hockey.
Arguably the most recognizable U.S.-born hockey player in National Hockey League history still. The Stars franchise all-time leading scorer with 867 points. Takes off the old and brings in the new, and that is what today is all about.
Well, Mike, you look at these two teams right now, no question, the one thing on their minds is how they are going to play once that puck is dropped.
Now, when the puck is dropped, the historic day will be underway. The Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild set to face off here in a jam-packed, sold-out XL Energy Center. Our referees will be Conrad Hack and Don Koharski. Troy Sartazin and Lyle Seitz will be the linesmen. And we are set to go. A doubleheader for rivalries today. The Packers and the Vikings, and now the Stars and the Wild. And Wes Walz wins the opening draw. Sekrish to O'Donnell. And we are underway here in St. Paul. A quick offside is called. Gives us a chance to check out today's goaltending matchup. And Ed Belfour, who played 1 year of collegiate hockey at North Dakota, won a national championship that year. The Wells Fargo goaltending matchup has him in the pipes for Dallas.
Yeah, and look at his record right now. 7 shutouts also as he has had this season. The guy they call the Eagle has played the last 3 games, all victories for the Dallas Stars.
How was Manny this morning?
He was great. You know, very loose, and he knows he played for Dallas, of course. A little bit nervous. He said, I've waited all week. He said, but when I get between the pipes and that puck is dropped, I will be ready to go.
He's waited all week, and many fans have waited 7 years, nearly 3,000 days, and they would like nothing better than to see the hometown team come away with a victory here this evening. Daryl Sador gets it to Mike Modano. Modano headmans the puck. Modano gets it back at center quickly to Hall. Good puck movement. Backhand shot. Rebound trickles to the side of Manny Fernandez. The quickness through the neutral zone of Hall and Modano displayed there. Brendan Morrow behind the net to Hall towards Modano and intercepted by Walz. The players know one thing. Ultimate concern today, stopping the dynamic duo of Modano and Hall, and they get the first scoring chance of the game.
Absolutely. And once again, Mike Modano showing the display that we expected to see him as a rookie, being #1 in the league back in 1988 when he was drafted. And he seems to hold true right now. Just a tremendous, powerful player who controls the puck so well, Mike, when he's got the speed. A lot of guys have speed, but they can't do both. He can. Behind the net, Dowd tries to work with it. Pellerin now will try to give chase. And Ted Donato, the longtime veteran in his first season in Dallas, comes up with the puck. Matvechuk. Now Joe Nieuwendyk, and up the sideboard. Big penalty coming up. The hit from behind on Jamie Langenbrunner, and Dallas is going to have the first opportunity with the man advantage. And they've been pretty successful on the power play as of late, but when you get hit from behind, the referee has got to make the call, and you see the boarding call going against the assistant captain, Scott Pellerin. And once again, that's emotions coming into it too. You hear the fans, you know what you have to do. Sometimes you become a little more aggressive at the beginning of a game than later on. Polaris keys to the game for the Stars. Play their own game. What do you mean? Well, they really have to play their own game. They can't get locked into what Minnesota's going to do. This is a much superior team talent-wise, but they have to play hard, and they know they have to do that. They have to stay within the confines of what got them to this point right now. Use that speed and skill, which they certainly have at all ends of the ice. Minnesota, on the other hand, they really have to be smart, too, when they're on the ice. They can't afford themselves, you know, to open up this game. They have to be very close to the vest. Can't allow the other team to really open things up. Aaron Gavey with a chance shorthanded, and the save made by Belfour. Power play 13th in the NHL, and the penalty killing for Minnesota very effective this year. Watch out for Brett Hall. He is the gunner with the big one-timer on this power play unit for the Dallas Stars. Power play goals this year. Hall has 4 of them. Nieuwendyk has 5, and Modano has 3. The Stars have scored a power play goal in 8 of their last 10 games. Sergei Zubov is the power play captain and quarterback. Zubov, Kuba, Laxinen. He has Walz ahead of the play. Headman to Wes Walz. Walz walking in, dragged down, penalty. Power play for Dallas over. Let's see what they call. We may have 2 penalties. I think there may be a roughing penalty or a boarding penalty after the play. But did that look like pretty good possession of the puck to me? Why wouldn't a penalty shot be called in that situation? That's what Wes Walz wants to know right now, Tom. Well, Andy Van Helleman, the director of officiating, is in the building. That'll be a good question. Perhaps we can get to him at some point. But they are not going to call it as a penalty shot. It will be a penalty, 1 to each side. And you watch here, you see he's got, are they saying because he didn't have possession of the puck well, it was well in front where he was going to it. That was a good penalty by Sador. He had no choice but to hook them to prevent him from getting there. Watch Wes Walz, though, is in the box. And so he might have gotten a 10-minute misconduct. Well, I think he may have gotten a boarding call. I'm not sure. Unsportsmanlike. They call. Okay. Well, they thought it was a dive. I don't know about that. Well, it was a dive. Why did they call it a hook?
Yeah, good point. A good point.
Well, you watch right here. He's pulling here. He's being hooked here right now.
I don't know.
8.3 or what?
Yeah, perhaps. But then why the hook, right?
Yeah. Anyway,
so you thought the power play was going to be short-lived for the Stars? That doesn't seem to be the case right here. Ken Hitchcock, the head coach, has done a masterful job in his 4th season as an NHL coach for the Dallas Stars. And he has already reached 200 wins. Face-off, Gavey towards the point. Bombardier gets it to Ladislav Benisic. And it is sent right back into the zone. Richard Matvechuk, one of the 3 holdovers from the Minnesota North Stars days, will bring the puck out. He, Darian Hatcher, and Mike Modano. Matvechuk dumps it in. Played behind by Fernandez. Pinching over was Jamie Langenbrunner in front of the net. It is Gavey, and he throws it in and out of the zone. Hatcher to the near side, and Matvechuk. Matvechuk played 53 games as a rookie in 92-93 here in Minnesota. Joe Nieuwendyk dumps it into the zone behind the net. Bombardier will chase it down for the Wild, gives a slap at it, kept in momentarily at the blue line, and pushing it out is Darby Hendrickson. Nieuwendyk catches up to Hendrickson, and coming back to help out is Matvechuk. So it's 5-on-4 for another 15 seconds as O'Donnell will play the puck. Sean O'Donnell headmans towards Jim Dowd. Belfour way out of the net, and he will move it behind to Zubov. Pellerin's about to come out of the box. Roman Lyashenko into the zone, went towards John Sim, and Sim will try to work for it now. 4th line on the ice for the Stars, and that includes the veteran Kirk Muller. Pellerin can't get it out of the zone. Watch out for 22, Kirk Muller. 2nd year with the Stars, 17th NHL season. Dowd now has it and delivers towards Pellerin. Muller bounces it. Sim is stood up by O'Donnell, and the puck is controlled by Marian Gaborik. Kuba has time to advance, does to the neutral zone area. Gaborik overskates. Sean Van Allen in the lineup today with Yuri Letnin still nursing a sore ankle, so he is out of the lineup, and Van Allen gets the call. Puck headman towards Krivokrasov, and the loose puck is played and pushed up the boards.
Mike, you watch right now, one of the most important things, too, you can do, especially for the Wild, is make certain they finish off those checks. They can't allow Dallas to be freewheeling and just move the puck and not take some physical play along the way.
Bout behind the net. Tyler Bout, 55, sends it in front of Manny Fernandez, and Krivokrasov picks up the loose puck. Van Allen catches up to him. Sutton pushes it into the Dallas zone. Stacey Roost on the forecheck. He tangles, and the puck to the near side to Van Allen. Cleared ahead by Dallas and pushed into the zone by Bout. Darian Hatcher first man in. Manny Fernandez misplays. Watch out for Hatcher. Look to center. Fernandez got a piece of it. Now it's Nielsen. Nielsen over to the near side, and Andy Sutton. Sutton headmans to Antti Laaksonen, flipping it through center, but it's played by Morrow. Top line on the ice here. Brett Hall, Mike Modano, and Brendan Morrow, the 2nd-year player from Saskatchewan. Nielsen backhand. Belfour is snuck out in front, but he's able to glove it. Bombardier now has it. Sent towards the net. And it'll be cleared out by Dallas. Halinas across the line. Back to Hall. Shot knocked down nicely by Ladislav Benisic. Hall centers the puck. Matvechuk steps in. And Morrow has it. Down hard goes not one, but 2 players. And another penalty is about to be called.
Well, this one will go against Dallas. This time it's their turn to be shorthanded. And that is going to be picked up, the penalty going to Matvechuk, who will pick up the penalty coming at 5 minutes and 37 seconds. As you look at Mike Modano going to the bench, he'll be called on the holding call. That was just inside the Minnesota blue line. And so the Wild will have a power play opportunity.
Mike Modano, 30-year-old from Livonia, Michigan, scored over 300 points as a North Star. How about coming back, Mike?
I think it's been something that's been building for 8 years now, so it's going to be interesting to see how the fans' reaction is to us coming back and the whole, things leading up to the whole organization moving to Dallas. So I think it's been 8 years of frustration. I'm sure they're going let it all out tonight, and they've been waiting for this opportunity to have hockey back in Minnesota. And it's good to see the game back here.
The game is back here. The game is very strong. Another sellout here tonight as Matt Tkachuk in the box and the Wild on the power play for the first time this evening. Minnesota Wild power play not faring very well recently. They're on an 0 for a long time. Hopefully they will break that streak right here, right now, and get the early lead. Up ahead to Peter Bartos, too far. Belfour forced to play and brings it over to the near side boards.
And the thing also, Mike, is they've had chances to score. They just have not been able to put that guy in the ice who can finish off the play. So the chances are there. Eventually, when they get a couple, they give them more confidence, as we saw in Boston when they had 4 in 10 opportunities. And that's what they need. They need to get that first one quickly, and I think the confidence will come throughout the game.
Zubov ties up Gaborik. Modano on the penalty kill, dumps it down. The one thing about Mike Modano, he has strived in Dallas very diligently to become a very good two-way player. He is amongst the best two-way players in the league today. Thus, he gets a little time on the penalty kill here. Pellerin and Dowd. Dowd will play behind the net, gets it towards the point, and Sean O'Donnell. O'Donnell back towards Dowd, left there so Pellerin can try to gather. Hatcher tied him up. O'Donnell takes a swing at it. Bombardier was in deep. Up in front, Gaborik almost got a hold of it. Now Van Allen will just go on his belly and sweep it out to the neutral zone. O'Donnell to Dowd. Dowd across the line. Moeller on the back check, Dowd behind the net. Sador gives it a ride. Bennis can't keep it in the zone.
Well, once again, left-handed shot on the right side there. A little more difficult. Tried to get the skates along the boards, and he was working in that yesterday in practice. Just couldn't get there quick enough.
Kirk Muller able to keep it in the zone. Just 15 seconds left on power play number 1 for Minnesota. Hendrickson gains the zone, loses the handle, and the puck is cleared right back out. Both teams are about to be back at even strength.
You saw Henderson take the puck all by himself. That's where you've got to use your teammates. I know what his idea was, to get in there, get control, and so on, but you've got to be able to hold it, get it in there, and then set up your power play.
Dallas winners of 3 straight. Minnesota winless in their last 4 games. Joe Nieuwendyk on Big Matt Johnson returning to the lineup here this afternoon. Peter Bartos behind the net. Hendrickson on the far side punches it back down towards Johnson. Daryl Sador will tie him up there. Sador in his 10th NHL season, 6th in a Dallas uniform. Peter Bartos, Brett Hull, and Hull bounces it back to center. Sent right back in by Andy Sutton, and Minnesota will get a full line change. Darian Hatcher bumps the puck up and through the neutral zone, skated down by Ladislav Benisic. Brendan Morrow in pursuit. Hull almost able to keep it inside the zone, but an offside will be called. Still emotional, just underway here today. Welcome back here to the XL Energy Center. Number 16, Brett Hull, part of a 1999 Stanley Cup champion in Dallas, Texas. And a big reason why they won Lord Stanley's Cup that year. Krieger-Krasov, quick shot, just missed glove side of Ed Belfour. Stacey Roost fights for it. Comes away with a loose puck, trying to spin deep inside the Dallas zone. Roost tied up on the play by Roman Lyashenko. Now into help, Sammy Halinas. And the Wild trying to cycle the puck. Laxinen quickly towards Roost, in his skates, and he's bounced off the puck by Mueller. And down hard went Stacey Roost. He's back up, and he'll work his way towards the bench. Good hit by Andy Sutton on John Sim. Sim and Sutton collide again. One-time shot trickles wide of the net by Lyashenko. Here is Aaron Gavey. Gavey headmans to Walls. Wes Walls stops. Gets it towards Nielsen. Big grab. It scores! Minnesota's own Jeff Nielsen. It is 1-0 Wild.
Well, is this the place to be today or what? Ken Hitchcock looking on, but Jeff Nielsen comes in with a big goal here. Lots of play coming out here. Perfect play right onto Walsh here. Watch how he makes that little spinorama. And look where Nielsen is coming in, stick down. They practice this all the time, guys. And just one time it, and beating Balfour, the first good scoring opportunity for Minnesota. He makes no mistake about it. Eluded the goaltender there. And so Minnesota takes the lead 1-0, coming at 9 minutes and 12 seconds of the first period.
How about that? The young man who grew up watching the North Stars, growing up in Grand Rapids, has scored the first goal of the night. This building is absolutely electric. Walls and Gavey the assists. 1-0 Wild. How good is that? You are exactly right, partner. This is the place to be on a Sunday afternoon. The doubleheader of rivalries. Packers and Vikings, the Wild and the Stars. Jeff Nielsen. He was at the U when the Stars were packing up and heading down south.
Well, he was, and right now this youngster knows full well how important this goal is. He's not a guy that's going to score a lot of goals for you on the year, but he gets a big goal here tonight. And for Nielsen, that is just goal number 2 of the year. But at 29 years of age, I'll tell you, you're glad for any goals you can get. And he certainly has brought something to the Minnesota Wild at this point. A little bit of a cut under his chin, it looks like, probably a little bit of a stick. But he doesn't even feel that. What he feels right now is the opportunity that he had, and he made good on it.
Chin's a long way from your heart, Tom.
You bet.
Face-off win. Stick save made by Belfort. Good quick shot by Brad Bombardier. Here is Dow to drive, and it deflects just wide of the net. Another shot by Benesic. He scores! Ladislav Benesic! And look at the celebration here in Minnesota.
Well, it just took 48 seconds from the first goal to score the second goal. And the towels are being waved. The rags are being waved. Look at Benesic coming here. A little bit of a screen, perhaps, and that's what you want. You want your players to go to the net. Benesic makes good on it, gets the shot to the target. We've talked about that before. He puts it away, and the Wild have taken a 2-0 lead at exactly 10 minutes of the first period.
18,000 plus are on their feet. And a penalty is going to be called as Jim Dowd is going to go with Jamie Langenbrunner. Oh, my. And Dowd starting to get the better of Langenbrunner.
Well, that was right from the drop of the puck. These two guys kind of square off. A little emotion, perhaps.
Nothing to say now, partner. This is awesome. You took our team, and we went wild. And they are going wild here this afternoon. Cloquet High School's own Jamie Langenbrunner in that little scuffle a moment ago with Jim Dowd of the Minnesota Wild. And an extra 2 is going to be given to the Dallas Stars. So the Wild will have their second power play of the game. Wild lead 2-0 on goals by Nielsen, and now officially Marian Gaborik, with Benesic and Dowd gaining the assists on the second goal of the night. Bombardier will bring it up and dump it into the Star zone. Madonna off the boards towards Hatcher, and Hatcher able to clear it down the length of the ice surface. So 2 goals 48 seconds apart for the home team, Nielsen and Gaborik. A former North Stars fan and the Wild future. Marian Gaborik, the young rookie, first ever draft pick in Minnesota Wild history. Another penalty forthcoming, and this is going to be emotional all day long. Daryl Sador is in to help.
Well, something was right in there. I'll tell you, he went into Hatcher and took him down pretty good. This is a big dude. I'll tell you, Hatcher is one of those guys who's got a great deal of nastiness. This guy also has it. These two guys coming together, this may be a long game yet.
Buckle it up, everybody.
Yep.
Let's play hockey.
Get your popcorn ready. Sit down. It's going to be a long one.
Throw your remote away, people.
Well, these penalties coming at 10 minutes and 56 seconds. You look at once again, in behind that, watch Hutton come in here, battling along here. You can see the hit from behind right there by Hatcher. This brings Sutton in, and he just comes in. He's ready to go, but you know what? Give him a lot of credit. He could have done it there. He didn't. That's class. When you have a guy down like that, you don't want to sucker punch him. He was waiting for him to get back up. That never came.
Darian Hatcher, 91 and 92 here in Minnesota with the North Stars. Ken Hitchcock Wow. He
Now-
knew he was in for a buzzsaw
Oh,
today.
absolutely. I talked to him before the game, and he, you know what? He is truly excited about hockey being back here in
Oh, yeah.
Minnesota. He said it's great for the organization. These players are in awe of this building. They look at the visiting dressing room. They said there's nothing better in the NHL than what we have in this building at the XL Energy Center. You look at his career against Jacques Lemaire, 3-2, and Jacques Lemaire. Talking to him today, I said, is this game any different than any other game? He says, not from a business standpoint. We have a business to do. Our job is to get the 2 points. Sure, there's more emotion with some of these things. But he says, I don't want everybody to think that a Washington game is not any more important than a Dallas game. They're all important to us because they're points that we can capture someplace.
The biggest difference here today is that while the hometown crowd has been magnificent, they are extra fired up because they want to heal their broken hearts with Mike Modano and the Stars in town today. And this crowd has been vocal. This building has been amongst the loudest in the National Hockey League. There has never been anything but a sellout since this team came into the XL Energy Center in St. Paul. And today is no exception. 18,000 plus as the consecutive sellout streak continues for the Minnesota Wild. Zubov will play the puck up ahead to Modano. Kuba takes it off his stick. Darby Hendrickson able to control the puck now for the Wild. So to the near side, and Scott Pellerin. Pellerin towards Hendrickson, and the puck will be played ahead. Power play has 53 more seconds on it here for the Wild. Kept in at the blue line by Sekrish. Sekrish pestered by Van Allen. Gabrick can't get a hold of it. Zubov clears it towards the open space, and Brad Lukowicz will dump it into the zone. Lukowicz was selected in the expansion draft by Minnesota, but then traded back to Dallas, and that is why the Minnesota Wild have Aaron Gavey on their roster, sent in by Philip Kuba. Daryl Sador back around and towards Kirk Muller. Kuba stands him up towards the point, and Pellerin. Pellerin gets it back to Kuba. Kuba, Pellerin. Pellerin towards Kuba, and a good defensive play by the veteran Kirk Muller.
It was a good defensive play. Not quite sure where to go with the puck right there. Kuba had it, tried to put it right onto the stick, but it was a little bit tight for the boards for Pellerin to handle it.
Kriva Kratsov on the outside. Tied up on the play, dumps it into the Stars zone. Daryl Sador, first man there. Far side Bombardier able to keep it in at the blue line. Down towards Stacy Roos behind the net. Sergei Zubov will move it ahead. Lyashenko through the neutral ice area, leaves it for Joe Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk across to Sador, back in front, shot saved by Fernandez. Close quarters, Manny Fernandez, good save. Now it is back into the neutral zone area where Zubov will play. Both teams back at even strength. Fernandez well out of his net, leaves it up towards West Walls. Brett Hall gets to the puck first. Hall advances towards Lyashenko behind the net. Benesic will skate it down. Ladislav Benesic into the neutral zone area. Collision there, and play will go right on between Matt Tkachuk and Nielsen. Here is Nielsen, who spins and circles through center. Modano steps in, and another big hit is Laxonen stood up at the blue line by Matt Tkachuk, and the penalty is about to be called.
Well, I think Matt Tkachuk is going to get a penalty, bringing the stick up there pretty high on that exchange. Referee is calling as an elbow, and so that is a big plus for Minnesota right now. Watch right at the blue line, and with the two referee system too, obviously you can see a lot more. Watch Laxonen, and look at the elbow come up. He gives a little push back. Nothing bad happening there, just grabbing onto the stick. Matt Tkachuk will go to the penalty box. Ray call for elbowing at 13:08.
So third power play for the Minnesota Wild. Goals by Nielsen and Gabrick, 48 seconds apart, have given the Wild a 2-0 lead over the Dallas Stars. Stars come in at 17-8-4-1. They won 43 games, had 102 points a year ago with Manny Fernandez as the backup to Ed Belfour. And the Dallas Stars 1 year ago lost in the Stanley Cup Finals in 6 games to the New Jersey Devils. Third power play of the night. Last year, Dallas was the top penalty-killing team in the entire National Hockey League. This year, they are amongst the best so far again. Hendrickson towards the point, and Lubomir Sekrish swings it towards the near side boards, and Kirk Muller picks it up for Dallas. Muller driven off the puck. And Hendrickson will try to chase it down. Sergei Zubov, the $25 million man, unable to gather it in. Sutton has it. Sutton sends it towards the net. And just tied up was Peter Bartos. Bartos gets it over to Sutton. Sutton used in front here, Tom, to get a big body in front of the net. O'Donnell a drive, and it deflects wide of Belfour. Sutton is up on the forward position, lost the puck, and O'Donnell can't keep it in against Mike Modano.
Well, Jacques Lemaire talked about getting some bodies in front of the net, some big structures out here. McKenna's not in the lineup today. That brings Sutton as one of the key guys to come up in that forward position when he's called upon to do so.
Sutton dumps it in. Andy Sutton is still on the ice surface with Marian Gaborik, Philip Kuba, Scott Pellerin. Now Sutton works his way off. Bombardier, Kuba, and here comes Antti Laaksonen. Philip Kuba, 49 seconds left in the penalty against Richard Matvechuk. Bombardier through center. Bombardier will give it a ride. Belfour won't attempt to play. Sador is there. The puck trickles high, controlled just for a moment by Minnesota. Van Allen starts the clear out as Tyler Bauch will work it into the Wild zone. Bauch tied up. Bombardier comes away with a loose puck. Slid over his way by Scott Pellerin. Wild have outshot their last 3 opponents, and they have limited Dallas to just 3 shots so far through 15 minutes of hockey. Kuba looked for Walls.
Well, he had the right idea there.
Back over towards Kuba. That time Modano able to read it. That'll bring the penalty to Matvechuk to conclusion. Behind the net, it's Philip Kuba. Matvechuk out of the box. Stars back at full strength. Peter Bartos trying to get it over to Walls. Modano tied him up nicely. And Tom, there you see an example of what Mike Modano has turned into. One of the top two-way players in the entire National Hockey League. Dallas Stars in town to take on the Minnesota Wild right here on KMSP. So our Treasure Island Resort and Casino Trivia question. The Stars have had 3 #1 overall draft picks in their history. Who were they? How many Stanley Cups did they win as players? Don't forget, try to answer the question correctly at www.wild.com. First correct answer wins a great overnight package from our friends at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Sergei Zubov gets it to Daryl Sador. Sador will wrap it into the Wild zone. Taken there by Marshall. Marshall banging his way on the near side boards. And the puck cleared up to Big Matt Johnson. Sergei Zubov, one of the top scoring defensemen in the National Hockey League year in and year out. Dumps it in. Joe Nieuwendyk gives chase. And the puck is cleared right back out by the Wild. 4:13 remains in the first period. Minnesota on goals from Nielsen and Gaborik lead this game by a score of 2-0. Bombardier quickly up to Bartos. I think you got to call that bank, don't you?
I think you do.
Zubov moves it ahead. Here is Mike Modano. Modano has it taken right away by Jim Dowd. Dowd fires towards Belfour. Rebound in front. Cleared but not out. O'Donnell again shoves it wide of the net.
Well, you watch right now, Minnesota putting a lot of pressure. And one of the things also, Mike, is you watch it. Dallas is a team that gets a lot of shots normally. They've had just 3 shots in this game. Minnesota's had 7. That tells you where the majority of the play has been up to this point.
Power plays are 3-1. Advantage Minnesota. Wes Walls across the line. He will come. Stick handling. Still holding on to it. Modano gives him a hit from behind once and then twice. Modano working on Wes Walls. Laaksonen tried to get it right back. And Modano headmans towards Brett Hull. O'Donnell will step into it. Darian Hatcher to Modano. And here is Sean O'Donnell. Just over 3 minutes remains in what has been a very emotional first period of play. Modano leaves it, and an offside will be called. Last year, the Dallas Stars overcame a bunch of adversity because they had 395 man games lost. And early in the season, they were worried about their leader, Mike Modano, who absolutely gets crushed here by Ruslan Saleh. Amazingly, with a broken jaw, a broken nose, and lots of damage, Mike Modano only missed a small handful of games. It was a scary moment for the entire National Hockey League. No question about it.
Absolutely. And I remember watching that game and thinking, oh, my goodness, something major has happened to him. And, of course, it was a serious injury, but not where it was threatening to his career. He was able to bounce back here, and he's just a tremendously skilled athlete, big and strong. As I talked before about his ability to control the puck at such a top speed is something that very few players have the opportunity or the ability to do. He's one of those guys. He just leads his team by his example, and his transition game is so good. Just a quick, powerful skater out of Livonia, Michigan.
Team lost nearly 400 man games due to injury one season ago. Nieuwendyk missed over 20 games, but yet the Stars still went to the Stanley Cup Finals and lost in 6 to the New Jersey Devils.
Well, we talk about injuries this year, and Minnesota certainly has had their share.
Yeah.
Yesterday was the first time all season long they had everybody able to skate since training camp, the beginning of training camp.
Wow.
That was the first day.
And Dallas has stayed away from the injury bug so far. Right now, some of the Dallas players don't want to stay away from Manny Fernandez. Manny Fernandez last year, the backup to Ed Belfour. Of course, Belfour plays a lot of games. He played in 62 one season ago. But Manny Fernandez learned a lot from Ed Belfour, and he brings the same type of competitive fire to the rink day in and day out.
Well, he does. Also, he played under Ken Hitchcock in Michigan, the K-Wings there in the IHL. And Ken was telling me before the game, when he came, he was very young, inexperienced, learning the game. He said he performed very well for us, went on to Houston in the American League and won the cup there, the championship cup there. And he said, but he really has stepped up his game. And this has been a good opportunity for him. And when you look at Minnesota, goals against, they're ninth in the National Hockey League.
Yep.
Between Jamie and Mandy, they have worked very hard to get to this point. So the problem is not in the nets. The problem has been in the production up front of scoring goals, but that will come in time.
Both Wild goaltenders up over 90% in their save percentage, and that is exactly what your coaches would like to see. Dowd will take the draw inside the Wild zone against Joe Nieuwendyk, and he wins the faceoff. Near side, the puck will come. It is played towards the point, and Zubov, big drive, and right in front of the net was Kurt Muller. And you put your life in your own hands when you go in front of Manny Fernandez.
That's right.
Sador is tied up on the play. Penalty forthcoming, and we'll see who the officials have this time around.
Well, I think it's going to be Minnesota gets called on this one. It may be a holding call in along the boards. Sador, I think, was pretty well locked up by Bombardier as they came around the net area back in along the boards. Jacques Lemaire and assistant coach Mike Ramsey, and Bombardier heads to the penalty box. Watch along here. Watch how his right arm is around him and just kind of twists him around at the same time. And the referee was in the right place to make that call. This coming 17 minutes, 47 seconds of the period.
So Bombardier sits down, and that means, Tom, watch out for this man. The biggest gunner of them all in the National Hockey League when you talk about the ability to shoot the puck. Brett Hall, already 19 goals this season. That is fourth best in the National Hockey League. Amazingly, only 4 power play goals, and Hall has scored 19 times. Medano sends it down towards Brendan Morrow. With Yuri Letnin suffering from a bad ankle again, youngster Brendan Morrow, in just his second NHL season, logs the time with the top line, and here on this top power play unit with Zubov and Daryl Sador at the points. Morrow sends it wide of Fernandez. Medano, oh, nifty move there, gets it towards Hall, and the puck will be cleared out by Scott Pellerin.
Well, that's one thing about Medano. Look how creative he is when he has the puck. Those little plays make all the difference in the world of giving you opportunities to get the puck to the net.
Up ahead, it's Pellerin. Pellerin with Zubov there, brings it in front. Scott Pellerin didn't have anywhere to go to get an offensive chance, so he takes his time and kills a couple of precious seconds.
Zubov doing a nice job pinching him just towards the boards, forcing him finally to dump it.
Fourth highest scoring defenseman the past 5 hockey seasons. Sergei Zubov of the Dallas Stars, kept in by Hatcher. Darian Hatcher and Sergei Zubov at the points. Zubov came to Dallas in a trade that involved Darian's brother Kevin Hatcher. And the Pittsburgh Penguins across to Darian. Big drive, good block by Darby Hendrickson. Penalty called in front of the net. Let's see what we've got.
We may have a high stick, I'm not sure. I thought that's...
Darby took that one in a bad spot. Yep, advanced with a high stick. And so the faceoff comes all the way down the length of the ice. Brett Hall, one of the all-time leading goal scorers in NHL history, has been just absolutely exceptional in his career. Going all the way back to Minnesota Duluth, Tom, when he led the WCHA with 52 goals in 85-86. And look at him and Papa Bobby. The Golden Jet and the Golden Brett.
I remember playing in Chicago with Bobby Hull for a couple of years, and Brett used to come down to the rink on game days, and he'd be on the ice with us. He was about 5 years old at the time, 4 or 5 years old, and he'd have a great time of being out there and just being a part of it and passing the puck, and he'd be going in like his dad. Didn't have quite the velocity in the shot then, but he certainly does now.
I was going to say 5 years old, and was his shot harder than anybody else's?
It was just over 50 miles an hour. It's embarrassing.
Yes, it is. The Golden Jet, the Golden Brett, first father-son combo to have over 600 career goals in the National Hockey League. Joe Nieuwendyk also an example of what this Dallas team is all about. And I know today's the day when you try to get through without mentioning those two bad words, Norm Green. So we'll get it out of the way, and we'll say now that Thomas Hicks is the owner of the Dallas Stars, and it has been free agent acquisitions like a Joe Nieuwendyk in a trade, plus you're able to pay him the money that he's worth. A Brett Hall and El Belfour that has made this team a champion.
Well, when you have Tom Hicks signing a contract of $252 million to Alex Rodriguez, you think the players from the Dallas Stars are standing up and saying, wait a minute now, maybe there's some money left here someplace. So guys like Hull and the Madanos and the Belfours and so on, Hatchers, will certainly take that into consideration at contract time.
Now, contract was good to Sergei Zubov. 5 years, $25 million contract he is holding on to right now. Modano also has a number of years left on his present deal. Neutral zone, Sador steps in. Up ahead of the play was Walls. He was almost sprung loose. 13 seconds remains. Both teams back at even strength. Out of the box comes Bombardier. So the Stars unable to do anything here in the first period offensively. Sent in towards Manny Fernandez. He keeps it alive. 20 minutes in the books. How about this building? Absolutely electric. As good as it is right now in the National Hockey League.
And you're right there, and that 2-0 lead certainly bodes well for Minnesota. This is a very stingy team. We know how defensive this team can be, but we also know how offensive-minded that the Dallas Stars can be. And so this team will have to regroup. They'll have to, as they go in the dressing room, think about what they have to do in period number 2.
During a day of history, a franchise record, 2 goals, just 48 seconds apart. Jeff Nielsen and Marian Gaborik. We will talk to Jeff Nielsen. Also, the former coach of the North Stars, Bob Gainey, now the Stars general manager, when we return here live on a Sunday night on KMSP. 2-0 Minnesota. Run. A gold medal. Time here in the Twin Cities. One of the best from Roseau. Did I leave you anything?
No, you got it.
I'm a big U.S. hockey fan. Sorry.
Just let you know I'm here.
If you need to know where I was in 1980 when they won the gold medal, I'd be happy to tell you the story. Nieuwendyk sends it into the zone. Save made by Manny Fernandez. In front of the net, Muller poking at it with Benesic. Gaborik off the long pass. Hits Jim Dowd streaking down the far side wing. Dowd lost the puck. Darian Hatcher steps in. Kicks it up towards Langenbrunner. Quick shot by Marian Gaborik. Blocker save by Ed Belfour. Remember, Jamie's from Duluth. As Sekrish got hit with something. Play is going to go right on, I think, and now they'll whistle it down. Was it a stick?
I believe he got hit with a stick. I thought he got slashed. I didn't pick up the number just inside the blue line. Neither one of the officials saw it. I think it may have been Muller who caught him. But no penalty on the play. Just at the side. You see down with Don Fuller receiving some medical repair. It looks like a little bit of a mark on his right. Looks like the chin area just on the right side there.
Don't know if it was inadvertent or not, but Sekrish appears to be okay. Kirk Muller, the veteran, in his 17th NHL season. And Sekrish, one of the oldest rookies in NHL history. And, man, he's been a key component to this inaugural season for the Minnesota Wild. 2-0 Minnesota leads. Nielsen and Gaborik 48 seconds apart in period number 1 at 9:12 and 10 minutes even. And here is Nielsen, who gets it to Walls. And a whistle and a stoppage. Sekrish still being attended to. Tom, it was interesting in getting excited for this game yesterday. I pulled an old sheet off the internet. Al Shaver's all-time North Stars team. Jill Meloche, Craig Hartsburg, Ted Harris, J.P. Parisi, Neil Broughton, and Bill Goldsworthy.
Yep, not a bad list. Not a bad list. One thing Minnesota has to guard against right here now is the first part of this period. They know Dallas is in the dressing room, not very happy with themselves. This is when they're going to really apply that pressure. They've got to be patient here, play smart.
Laxinen. Wild have had first period leads in their last 2 home games, and they have not come away with the W. Sador. Darby Hendrickson will send it behind the net to Ed Belfour. Wall's able to keep it in momentarily. Modano, Laxinen at the blue line, and Morrow just gave it enough of a push that the puck squirts out of the zone. Back across the line, bouncing puck for Antti Laxinen. He is dragged down. Play will go right on. He and Sador have a little extra verbal discussion. Brendan Morrow, headmans towards Brett Hall. Hall in on Philip Kuba, and Walls trying to stick handle out of his own zone. Wes Walls doing exactly what you said a moment ago, Tom, making sure not to make a mistake early here in the second period.
Especially in the defensive zone there. He had the puck. He got trapped just a little bit. Didn't have the quick jump. He tried to make the pass up ice to Bartos, who was just a little bit off the boards. Didn't quite make it, but the pass was hard enough that it goes all the way down the ice, and so that'll bring the face-off back to the Wild end.
Guys like Ladislav Benisic don't understand exactly what this game's about. Eddie Belfour does to a certain degree, playing his collegiate hockey at North Dakota in his 1 collegiate season, winning the national championship there out of Carmen, Manitoba.
I tell you, he's a guy also who's played so well. He seems to get stronger as he goes along. You mentioned in Chicago when he was there winning the Calder Cup as the trophy given to the Rookie of the Year in the National Hockey League, and he just gets better and better.
Behind the net of Ed Belfour, Bartos. And the puck is pushed just out of the zone by the Dallas Stars. John Sim is bumped on the play by Darby Hendrickson. Bartos is tied up, and Matt Johnson sends it in towards Ed Belfour, 2-time Vezina Trophy Award winner.
And both Johnson and Bartos getting an opportunity to play. Jashinsky is out of the lineup along with Steve McKenna, we mentioned before, and of course we've got a couple of injuries still out on the part of the Wild with Curtis Lecision, who they really miss on that point position. Cam Stewart out also, and Sylvain Blouin being a healthy scratch.
Slashing is going to be the call. While we have a moment, I'd like to remind you, Wild single game tickets are on sale now at the XL Energy Center box office and at all Ticketmaster locations. Good tickets still remain for most home games during this holiday season and New Year's Eve. Call 651-989-5151 or log on at Ticketmaster.com.
Well, Sekaresh got hit before the slash, no call. This time he came back thinking maybe I can get away with it. You watch here. Watch, there's a play with Sutton coming here. Watch for 77. See if we can pick it up. No, it's not quite in the frame there. But nonetheless, it will be Minnesota that will be shorthanded as he goes to the penalty box. And he does not take a lot of penalties. He's only had 26 minutes, and for a defenseman, that's not a lot of time in the 33 games he has played in.
Neuendijk wins the faceoff. Langenbrunner back to Daryl Sador. Sador gets it across to Zubov. Wrist shot, glove save. Manny Fernandez, he will hold on.
This is a real important penalty kill for Minnesota to get through this 2 minutes that they possibly can, barring other penalties here. Manny Fernandez has got to step up here too. You have to have a goaltender that can win games for you. Manny is one of those guys. And of course, playing for Dallas last year and getting the chance to be the backup to Belfour, he's probably learned a lot, but now it's his turn to shine, and he has done that for Minnesota. He and Jamie together.
Manny last year had a .920 save percentage in his 24 games played in Dallas. Neuendijk, face-off, Walls won it. Cleared, but not out. Sador back towards the net, redirected wide off the stick of Joe Neuendijk. Muller, Langenbrunner, Neuendijk, Zubov, and Daryl Sador. Zubov, big shot, long save, rebound off the side of the net. Kirk Muller looking for his first of the season, almost had it. Sador now sends it towards Fernandez, and it's deflected wide again. Muller overskates. Nielsen tries to hustle for it, and the puck is taken at the blue line by Zubov. Ahead in front, kicked aside towards the point. Sador, quick shot. Glove save made by Manny Fernandez, and a good one. Penalty forthcoming. It's against Minnesota. To the point, Sador. Sador towards the net, in front. Fernandez, rebound off the side of the net. And acrobatically, Manny Fernandez will hold on.
Well, as you mentioned, it will be another penalty that will go against Minnesota. Sekaresh still has 1 minute and 9 seconds. But when you get in front of that net and the pressure is being applied, then you grab, you do whatever you have to do to make certain that no one can get to that loose puck. Manny Fernandez doing the job that he had to do, but it will be a cross-checking play that will go against the Wild. And unfortunately, it's going to go against number 37, who's one of the key penalty killers, Wes Walz, as he heads to the penalty box. And this will put Minnesota in a 2-man deficit.
For a full 1 minute and 9 seconds. So 3:14 into period number 2, right in front of the net. Wes Walz picks up the penalty.
Yeah, and that's usually where it happens. You watch how deep he is here, and watch for 37 as he comes in there. You can see right in front of Fernandez as he just comes in, and the big captain is not in a very comfortable position right now.
Jacques Lemaire won many a Stanley Cup when he was a member of the Montreal Canadiens with our guest a moment ago, Bob Gainey, in his 5th year as the full-time president and general manager of this team, the Dallas Stars, who have a big chance here to cut this Minnesota 2-0 lead right in half.
Well, as I mentioned before, it was an important time to kill off the 1 penalty. Now they have 2 penalties to kill off.
And you also said that Wes Walz in the box, one of the best penalty killers,
yep.
So a little double whammy there. Sekrish and Walz in the box. Dowd will take this important face-off against Joe Nieuwendyk. Langenbrunner to the point. Zubov walking, top of these circles. He'll hold on to it, gets it down to Jamie Langenbrunner, right back up. Zubov across to Mike Modano. Hull is on the ice. Zubov fakes the one-timer. Modano a drive and a good save by Manny Fernandez. Cleared out of the zone by the Wild. Belfour quick to get to the puck. He will leave it for Mike Modano. O'Donnell, a good play to clear the puck. Modano brings it up through center. Crosses and gains the zone. Modano gets it down and around. Bombardier will hustle towards it. Can he get it past Zubov? No. Right in front of the net, wide open. Modano fend on the shot. And the puck trickles back to the neutral ice area.
Well, once again, good hustle by the Wilders, keeping Dallas a little bit off balance here, not getting those shots to the target.
15 seconds left in the 5-on-3. Langenbrunner can't gain the zone, but Bombardier can't clear it all the way. This time Benesic does. And this building continues to be electric.
Well, it is right now, and the reason for that, the 2-0 lead, but also the effort that we're seeing the Wild display on the ice.
5-on-4 now. Modano overskates. And the Stars are able to stay on side. O'Donnell towards Sekrish. And he clears it out of the zone. Watch out, Pellerin has speed in a foot race with Belfour. And the Eagle gets to the puck first.
You got to quit those goaltenders, got to stay in those nets. Chances there.
Modano can't move it ahead. 28 seconds left on the penalty to Walz. 1:09 of 5-on-3 time, and Dallas has just one shot on Manny Fernandez. Modano center. Dumps it towards Fernandez. Let's see what he does with it here. Whips it around. Zubov, the bouncing puck, sends it back towards the net. Knocked down in front and cleared right out. 10 seconds remains on the Wes Walz penalty, and Hendrickson has the puck. He's dragged down, and play will go right on. 5-on-3 has been killed. They love their new team. Gavey, the former Star, hit on the play. Up ahead to Jim Dowd. Dowd will move it through the neutral zone area. Sends it in and towards Ed Belfour. Belfour leaves behind. Hatcher gets it to Daryl Sador. Sador moves it ahead to Van Allen off his stick and pushed right back into the zone by Sergei Krivokrasov.
Well, as you mentioned, that is a big plus for Minnesota, being able to kill it off. Now they get to get a little bit more of a charge here on the offensive part of things.
Brendan Morrow had it poked away by Philip Kuba. He got, it seemed, all puck, but the referee may disagree.
Well, he's going to call a holding penalty against Kuba. Kuba not very happy with that, but that's 4 penalties in a row that have gone to Minnesota. And so this is tough. It's tough enough playing against a real solid team like Dallas. At the same time, when you have that, boy, I disagree with that call there. What he did was play the puck perfectly with a stick. He was reaching at the same time. The guy undercut him and came on the inside. I do not like that call at all.
Holding at 5:57, Tom. It's just a poke check, isn't it?
Well, that's what it is. He's reaching right here. Now what he has to do is try and bring the stick around. He's already reached. He's extended himself. It's easy to get caught up as a player because the player's coming towards you at the same time, his momentum and his weight. And you can tell that Jacques not happy with that either. And he's absolutely right. That's an unfair call, and don't put them in that disadvantage.
What a great job done a moment ago. 1 minute and 9 seconds of a 5-on-3. And now Wes Walz is back on the ice surface to try to help to kill this one off. But Jock's saying, hey, let us try to win this game, guys. Let's play this hockey game and see what happens after 60 minutes. 5th power play for Dallas. Their top unit is off the ice right now. Brendan Morrow, Langenbrunner, Laxinen gets it outside the zone past Brad Lukowicz. Lukowicz and Hatcher at the point. Nieuwendyk, Morrow, Langenbrunner. You know, you say their top units on the bench. Then you talk about guys who are still extremely dangerous. This is why Dallas is a Stanley Cup contender again this season.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, you look at their talent. We've talked about the different players they have, but they are very well coached also. Ken Hitchcock, you mentioned 4 years he's had this team over 100 points each of those 4 years. 4 championships in the division each time with a Stanley Cup. This guy knows how to coach, and he was never a player to any extent, but he knows what it takes.
Nieuwendyk in front. Puck is still free. Save made by Manny Fernandez.
And you know what? The more saves he makes, the better he will become, especially in this game. And that's all he's concerned about right now. Good focus on the puck. He knows where it is, knows what he has to do. And even when he can't see it, he's able to put himself in position. Watch in front of the net here right now. He's got to look around everybody to see who's there. Morrow doing the job he has to do, and that's create havoc, to create the distraction. And look at the bodies coming in here. Manny will be the first guy to tell you if someone's in his way, he's going to use his stick. And look how, at the same time, you saw Morrow put his stick into Manny. That's to hold him back just enough. Could he call it interference? Possibly could.
Cloquet High School zone. Duluth, Minnesota native, Jamie Langenbrunner.
And you watch what the players are looking at. They're looking at the replays on this big screen. Maybe they can pick up a little tidbit about what they have to do or what they did in a certain situation that might help them in a play down the road.
It is a beautiful building, and that is a heck of a replay screen. I want one of those in my living room. You already have one.
You have to have a very tall living room.
Absolutely.
about 50 feet.
Modano. Benesic in on him. Sergei Zubov pinches in. 50 seconds left on Dallas's 5th power play of the game. Gavey out of midair. Sador skates over to it. Dumps it back to Ted Donato. Donato checked on the play by Ladislav Benesic. Modano's in. Benesic over to Walz. Walz gives it a ride, and he clears it the length of the ice. Belfort quickly headmans to Daryl Sador. Sador to Brett Hall. And Hall back to Sador. Cross ice pass towards Mike Modano. He stayed onside. He gains control. Flips it over towards Brett Hall. Donato in to help against Sean O'Donnell. Bombardier. Hall comes away with it just for a moment, though. Bombardier now without a stick, trying to work on Brett Hall. To the point, Sador. Across to Zubov. He'll get it right back. Sador to Hall. Brett Hall, top of the dots. Watch out. Fakes the shot. Sends it toward net. Shot. Point blank range. Ped save. Manny Fernandez. Kuba clears it aside. What a huge save by Manny Fernandez on who else but Mike Modano. Oh my goodness. How good is that?
That's good.
So the Wild kill off another Dallas power play. 11:35 remains here in the second period. They are starting to chant Manny here at the XL Energy Center.
I thought I might hear some of those Norm chants.
Now this one's much better, isn't it?
I'm going to lead that one.
Yes, you are. I like this one too. Bout 55 gets it across to John Sim. He crosses the line. Sim shut down just for a moment. Couldn't get a shot away. Sekrish, Tyler Bout, the rookie second-round pick who spent the last 4 years in Prince George of the Western Hockey League. Can't keep it in the zone.
Nice play by Stacey Russo. Right back in deep, hit stick down the ice, took the puck, and was able to get it out of the zone.
Doesn't look like Matvechuk has returned, Tom. He suffered a knee injury. Haven't seen him back on the ice. Sim, the quick shot. Good save made by Fernandez in front again. Manny kicks it aside. As Muller was in, the net is off the pegs. And we have a stoppage in play. Stars have not beaten Manny Fernandez quite yet. The home team.
Yeah, very solid.
Hatcher, big windup, wide of the net, big Kieran behind. Puck is still free, and Manny Fernandez finds it in the crowd and is able to smother it. Face-off forthcoming.
Well, what we're seeing right now is Dallas really crowding that Minnesota net. They're coming right in that slot area, trying to get those big shots coming from the point. Hatcher had that last shot, and those are the guys you want. back in that point position. They're the guys who can get the puck through to the target. Then you need the big bodies in front also looking to see if you can do a deflection or whatever. Newendijk, one of those guys, a pretty good frame on him also at 6'1", and he'll just stand in front of net and create the havoc that the team is looking for.
Doug Risebrown knows Joe Newendijk fairly darn well. Of course, Risebrown, assistant coach in '89 with the Flames, when Newendijk won his first of 2 Stanley Cup championships. Face-off win for Newendijk to the point in Hatcher. Hatcher towards the net, bouncing puck, and it trickles into the corner. Langenbrunner, Muller, and Newendijk. So Muller being moved up here. He has earned the time to play on one of the big lines. It appears Ken Hitchcock has shortened his bench already. Towards Langenbrunner, Cloquet High School zone. And the puck is played by Sammy Halinas. Halinas to Newendijk. Newendijk tried to pass it once. Now the backhand shot. Glove save made. Rebound. And again, Manny Fernandez is equal to the task.
Well, I mean, he is being bowled over here, and we got to get the Wild have got to get a little bit stronger in that crease area, that slot area, because Dallas is just coming full bore into there, and they're knocking him down. And when he goes down, he's flat. He can't make those saves. Minnesota's been able to move the puck to the side. The referee very quick to blow the whistle there as the net came off of its standards there. At the same time, these guys are pushing right now. Watch Manny. Look how focused, how square he is. Look at the extension here. You wonder why goaltenders come out early and they stretch and do all the things necessary to prepare themselves so they don't get those pulled groins and hamstrings and everything else. It pays big dividends right here.
Manny Fernandez, 26 years old, from Etobicoke, Ontario, Canada. And he has been good in this inaugural season. He's allowed only 12 goals in his last 7 starts.
Yeah, he has played exceptionally well, and as Ken Hitchcock said before, when he had him with Michigan, it was really a work in progress with this youngster. We've got to train him. When you make those leaps from the juniors to the minor pros and the NHL, there's certain things, certain criteria you have to meet if you want to stay in that position. He said he has learned it exceptionally well.
Face-off will come to Fernandez's right side. Newendijk. He'll take the face-off against Jim Dowd. A day the fans have been waiting a long time for. 7 years since the North Stars played their last game here in the Twin Cities. Newendijk and Dowd trying to establish position before the drop of the puck, and Jimmy Dowd wins the draw. Muller and Bombardier tie up. Puck played to the far side. Langenbrunner getting a ton of shifts here. Had it poked away as he tried to hammer it towards the net of Manny Fernandez. Wild can't clear the zone. Dallas putting on a lot of pressure here so far in the second period of play. Pellerin headmans towards Marian Gaborik. He would have been offside. Dowd isn't. And Belfour gathers and leaves for Darian Hatcher. Brad Lukowicz from Cranbrook, British Columbia, home of Steve Yzerman, is able to headman the puck. Pellerin now. And the puck will be played. Bombardier gets it ahead. Loses it in the neutral zone, and Muller will dump it right back in. Towards the point. Picked up by Nielsen. Nielsen scored the first goal of the night at 9:12 of the first period. With speed, he dumps it into the Stars zone. Lukowicz is hit by Nielsen, but he headmans the puck over towards Zubov, and the Stars will break it through center. Nielsen picks it back up, dumps it in on the backhand. Antti Laaksonen in on Ed Belfour. Belfour to Lukowicz. And Lukowicz ahead. Brendan Morrow. Puck bounced down, played by Wes Walz. Now the first big wave has occurred, Tom, and the Wild have stood their ground.
Well, they've had to kill off 3 penalties in this period alone. They've been outshot 8-2 in this second period, but you're absolutely right. Nothing has gone in, and that bodes well for the Wild.
Lukowicz gets it ahead. Morrow tries to finish his check. Hendrickson, bad angle. Shot! Score! Peter Bartos! 3-0 for the new guys who own this town. How good is that?
Well, Bartos is going to get credit for the goal, but I'll tell you, one of the keys out here is Matt Johnson. because he was doing a good play in that area. Watch him. You watch on the right of your screen. See where he is right now? He comes here and look at the havoc. And that's what I talk about. And all of a sudden, he got a little piece of the goaltender. At the same time, he got a little piece of Zubov, and that brought them this way. And all of a sudden, there's the pass coming from Hendrickson along the side there. It finally comes right out in front, and Bartos just picks it up, puts it away. And I'll tell you, Matt Johnson did a great job here playing in his first game in a long time. And Minnesota has taken that 3-0 lead.
Stacey Roost clears it out of the zone. 18,000 plus, another sellout here today at the XL Energy Center. They have been on their feet one more time. Peter Bartos scores the goal from Darby Hendrickson and Matt Johnson at 11:42 of the second period of play. They fought the wave off Tom, and the Wild have scored again. Nielsen, Gabrick, Bartos, and not a star goal yet against Manny Fernandez. 1-602-6015 or email the Wild at eventsweets.com. Face-off controlled by Minnesota. They lead this game by a score of 3-0. Gabrick across the line. Flips it on the backhand over towards Jim Dowd. Shot knocked down by Darian Hatcher. Hatcher towards Dowd. Puck trickles off near Marian Gabrick. Sammy Halinas will try to send it out of the zone. Can't do so. Bombardier to Gabrick. And now here comes Langenbrunner. Langenbrunner across the line. Nieuwendyk crashing towards the net. Nieuwendyk tried to get a hold of it. Down hard went Sammy Halinas, losing an edge. 3-on-2 for Minnesota. Back the other way. Dowd to Gabrick. Shot. Oh, just trickled through Belfour. Gabrick again. And Belfour comes up big. He had Belfour beaten, and the puck just trickled wide of the net. Into the zone, Langenbrunner. Glove save made by Fernandez.
And look how quick he got River into the glove. He's got it right out, and that doesn't stop the play. He's able to put it in a position where his teammate can pick it up and bring it right back out of the defensive area.
Nielsen circles at center. Pellerin will get a line change. Walls has the puck. Hatcher closes the distance. Darian Hatcher gets it back to center. Controlled once again by Minnesota. Nielsen met on the play by the Stars. Now in front. Score! Darby Hendrickson!
Oh, what a play.
Another goal by one of Minnesota's own. Darby Hendrickson has made it 4-0.
What a play by Antti Laaksonen, and what a play by Belfour. You don't see that happen very often, but Belfour came out of the net, made an errant pass here. There's a little shot being shot coming in here. Watch right here. He pulls it back, tries to get a little cute with it. Not the place to be. Laaksonen, look at the patience, too. He took a quick look, held back, and what do you do when you see a play like that? Hendrickson moves in the right place. Look at him just bearing down. We've seen him when he goes into that. It's a redirection there, and I'll tell you, he has got to be happy right now. This building is rocking.
A franchise record crowd of 18,834 have watched this Minnesota team absolutely earn the hearts of every hockey fan in the upper Midwest. The Wild lead the Dallas Stars 4-0.
4 goals on 14 shots. It's not the number, it's the quality.
13:41 the time of the goal. Antti Laaksonen, Tom, as you said, makes the great play. He gains the assist, but how about the irony of the young man from Richfield? Just moments away, he could walk to the Met in Bloomington,
not
scoring
today.
A goal.
Not today. It's cold.
Wow.
But watch right here. Laaksonen made a great play, though, I'll tell you. And he had to make the pass perfect, and he had to get over a couple of sticks in the way there. And that's what you work on. Yesterday, I was amazed at the practice, Mike. These guys, you got a group working on face-offs. You got the guys doing stops and starts. You got the defensemen working on one-on-ones. You've got shooting drills at the other end. You've got so many things going on at the same time. The one thing about Jacques Lemaire's practices, they're not very long all the time. They're short, but they've got a lot into them. And you make sure the players are always moving.
Get him in, get him out, let him work hard. Yep. Don't let him get bored, and let them go home. And this is home now to this team, the Minnesota Wild. Out of the zone quickly. Kriva Krasov Good heads-up play defensively by Daryl Sador. He knew that Hendrickson was trying to break in on net and stepped right into the passing lane. Stolen and taken by Hendrickson. Krivokrasov, top of the dots, fakes the shot. Krivokrasov's shot trickles wide against his former Chicago teammate Ed Belfour. Sekera should drive. Krivokrasov, save made by Belfour. Modano moves the puck into the Minnesota zone. 4 goals on 14 shots. 4-0. The Wild lead the Stars. Behind the net, it's Sekera.
Manny. Wow. That was outside.
Said at the beginning of the night, emotions were going to be different for a lot of different fans here today, but all are coming together in a common chant of Manny. Up to Bauk. Bauk shot. Fernandez save. Rebound. Lukowicz. And Helenas at the point position. Helenas sent it towards net. Kept in again by Dallas.
Pellerin doing a good job of getting just a piece of his body in front of it to deflect the puck away from the target.
Here is Pellerin. Flips it ahead towards Gabrick. Lukowicz ties him up. And play will go right on. 4.5 minutes remains here in the second period of play. Fernandez off a short hop gives it to Philip Kuba. Nielsen, Gabrick, Bartos, Hendrickson have scored for the Wild as Belfour gets it quickly ahead, and Nieuwendyk will drop towards Langenbrunner. Big shot wide of the net from Daryl Sador. Played by Joe Nieuwendyk. Backhand again, just missed on the glove side of Fernandez. Kirk Muller in on Andy Sutton. Muller, Nieuwendyk, and Langenbrunner have been effective this period. They've had a lot of the Dallas scoring chances.
Well, they have, and that one reason for that, they skate so well, Mike. You watch their legs, they're always moving, and they're crashing the net. They're getting there, they're making some havoc in front, as we talked about, and physically they've been able to be very physical in front of that net, and that's so often where you get your opportunities.
Bartos sends it into the zone. Peter Bartos with his 4th goal of his NHL career here today. Up ahead to Sean Van Allen, and he will dump it into the Minnesota side of the ice. Fernandez works it up the boards. Laxinen can't clear it out. Crashing in, and crashing into Laxinen was Ted Donato. Laxinen and Donato fighting for the stick. And the puck is cleared where Captain Darian Hatcher will play.
Well, this is where Minnesota has got to play very smart. They want to be just as aggressive as they have been in the past, but what they don't want to do is draw a penalty or anything that might give the Dallas Stars an opportunity to get back into this game.
Sent in by Ted Donato. Dallas has won 3 straight games. They trail here by a score of 4-0. Wes Walz through center, dumps it into the zone, and that is what you were talking about again. And once again, the example is Wes Walz, always thinking about what really needs to be done on the ice surface.
Yeah, and the players on the bench get into it a little bit more too. When you're in this position, each line will sit on the bench a little bit, and they may make a comment, 2 comments about, let's be smart, guys. Let's make sure if we get the puck in a certain position, let's go here, let's go there, whatever we have to do.
Offside called against Dallas. Minnesota 4. Dallas, nothing. Darby Hendrickson, Peter Bartos, the goal scorers here in the second period. Hendrickson has a goal and an assist in the game here this evening. His heart's pumping a little bit. Neil Broughton, if I remember, was his favorite player growing up. Good idol to have when you're a good Minnesota boy. Sean O'Donnell flips it up towards Sergei Krivokrasov. 19th consecutive sellout here in the inaugural season for the Minnesota Wild. Every game played in this building has been a sellout. And a franchise record crowd of 18,834 here tonight.
Interesting also, Mike, each line has scored a goal in tonight's game. So you've got good balance here, and that's what you look for. You look for 1 or 2 lines to maybe get the goals for you. Right now, Minnesota's gotten a goal from each one of those lines.
Offside, 1:55 remains. Well, your old buddy would have loved the night like tonight, wouldn't he?
He still does. He's watching someplace.
Now the tears. And Bill Goldsworthy, that last game was so emotional. 1993, nearly 3,000 days ago.
And I remember going to that game and sitting in the stands and watching this, and how angry I was at the fact that they were leaving. But I'll tell you something, sometimes in order to make something really good, you have to tear it down. And that's what's happened here in the city of St. Paul.
Well, until it's not there anymore, you don't really appreciate it the way that you really should appreciate it. And certainly this is a place where Marian Gaborik is now one of the new gunslingers. Gaborik has the puck in front of the net. Down went Pellerin. Langenbrunner knocked him off his feet. Play goes right on, and the Stars try to retreat through center. Jim Dowd there. Marian Gaborik will try it one more time. Gets it over to Dowd. Pellerin back onside. Dowd across the line. Here is Gaborik. Gaborik shot saved by Belfour. And Muller able to pull it over towards Nieuwendyk.
Boy, what a great release he's got on that shot too. Gaborik, I'll tell you, you watch him. We saw Mike Modano when he was a youngster. This guy is equal to a guy like Modano without the size at this point.
Boarding. Penalty coming up with 1:09 remaining in period number 2.
Well, Mullen and also Sutton going at it pretty good. Who's going to get the penalty? I think it's going to be... Oh, I thought it was going to be against Mullen, but it will be against... Oh, watch right here. Here's a little extra push right here.
Man,
there's a slash right there. Why not call that?
How many in a row is that?
I believe it's, what, number 5 in a row, I think, for this team right now.
In this period,
yep,
right?
Yep. Well, one towards the end of 1747. What's wrong with the slash coming back there? I mean, we saw the roughing penalty, or the boarding call. Or roughing he's going to call it, I guess. 18:51 the time.
So Sutton sits down, and the Dallas Stars and Brett Hall will have their 6th power play opportunity. Brett Hall led the NHL with 27 power play goals in 89-90, 29 power play goals in 90-91. He is a gunslinger.
And he and Modano together in the last 2 games, Mike, have picked up 10 points.
Wow.
On 5 goals and 5 assists.
In the win a couple of nights ago for Dallas at home, Hall had 2 goals and an assist. Modano had a goal and an assist when they beat the Blackhawks by a final of 4-1 Friday at Reunion Arena in Dallas. Last season for the Dallas Stars in Reunion Arena, they'll get a brand new building, the American Airlines Arena, which should be pretty darn nice next season. Bob Gainey said it's coming along, and it is on schedule. Zubov gets it to Hall. Couldn't get the shot away.
No, he was a little bit off balance there. The shot didn't come quite where he wanted, and he had to try to move in at the same time as coming back.
Sador having trouble keeping it in at the blue line, and so the Stars will have to regroup. Across the line, Modano swings it over towards the near side boards. 15 seconds left in period 2. Sador to Brett Hall on the backhand. Brendan Morrow towards the point. Zubov shot save made by Manny Fernandez. He saw the puck cleanly all the way.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Everyone moved out of his way, so the shot coming by Zubov was easily recognized by the Wild goaltender. Fernandez just making sure there's no rebound. And you'll watch when he captured that puck into his midsection, he made sure he had it. He was not going to let that one get away from him. You watch right here, nice little play around here. You're trying to force the play, but also you get most of your goals, especially in the power play, with shots coming from the point position. There's the shot. As you see, he comes in with a big glove of his, takes the shot by Zubov right into that area and just hangs on.
Manny said earlier this week, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm a little bit nervous. I know the damage they can do. He understands the firepower on this Dallas team very, very well. Having played there the last couple of seasons and through 2 periods of play, Manny Fernandez has been absolutely outstanding.
Well, he has been, and I tell you, but he's gotten some great support in front of him, and that's one of the keys here. This team has come to play. They know the importance of a game like this, the emotion that's charging from the fans down onto the ice, and they certainly have led their team to where they are sitting in a very comfortable position with 20 minutes to go.
2 in the first, 2 in the second. Franchise record 2 and 48 seconds in the first period. Peter Bartos and this man, Darby Hendrickson, in the second period of play. The Minnesota Wild lead the Dallas Stars 4-0. When they have led after 2 periods of play. Eddie Belfour made a costly mistake that led to the 4th goal of the night. No one has scored against Belfour's old backup, Manny Fernandez, who is now sharing the time in between the pipes here in Minnesota with Jamie McLennan. 3rd period set to begin, and Dallas will have the power play for the first 51 seconds of play. Sent in and around. Daryl Sador bumped on the play. Sekrich in on Langenbrunner. Neuendijk has it, tried the wraparound, and the puck pushed to the side of Sergei Zubov. Zubov has played a ton of minutes already here tonight.
Well, over 20 minutes. But the one thing now, once again, Mike, I go back to what I said to at the beginning of the second period. Minnesota has to play the same way at the beginning of this third period because Dallas, they're hungry and they're mad.
Across towards Zubov. Zubov fakes the shot. He has a great shot. Gets it over to Langenbrunner. Couldn't get a shot away. 9 seconds left on the penalty. Centering attempt towards Neuendijk. Flipped aside. 4 seconds left on the minor against Sutton. There's the shot from Zubov. Pad save made by Fernandez. Sekrich ties up Kurt Muller. Neuendijk gets it to the point. Sutton back in the play. Sador dumps it in. Muller will play it behind the net. Kurt Muller leaves for Joe Neuendijk. And the Wild have killed off the 6th Dallas Stars power play. 26 years, from 67 to 93. They were the North Stars, and Madonna was there the last couple. Scoring over 300 points in over 300 games played here in Minnesota. He is scoreless on this occasion. Lukowicz. He was a Wild player for about 15 minutes or so, maybe a little longer than that. Bumps into his own net, and off the pegs it will come.
Well, he was trying to get away from Gabrick is what happened, and as he did so, Gabrick just got a little piece of him, and that spun him around, lost his balance, went into the net. And so that was the reason for the stoppage of play. A look at Balfour once again, the guy they call the Eagle. And I'll tell you, he is a guy who's seen a lot of action over the years. 5 NHL All-Star games he has played in, but he also, like Manny, is a guy who can steal a game for you. Right now, this is Manny's game. He has been just the focal, strong point in their own defensive area. When you look at how nervous he is also when he's on the ice, but once that puck is ready to be dropped, he's in the position.
Lyashenko to take the face-off against Jim Dowd. Dowd finally loses a draw. Jim Dowd, after 2 periods of play, 7 face-off wins, just 3 face-off losses. Face-off win means possession time. Possession time sometimes means scoring opportunities. It has certainly meant that tonight for the Minnesota Wild. Puck pushed up ahead by Stacey Roost. Darian Hatcher gets to the loose puck before Marion Gabrick. Hatcher, the Detroit native from Sterling Heights, Michigan, sends it in, and an icing will be called. Ed Belfour outdistancing the rest of the National Hockey League right now with 7, count them, 7 shutouts coming into tonight, which makes him the active leader with 56 career shutouts. As we said, he won 2 Vezina trophies in a Chicago Blackhawk uniform, and man, you could say put all 4 of those guys into the Hall of Fame when they're done minding the pipes.
But look at the guy at the bottom, Terry Sawchuk, 103 shutouts.
Wow.
And that's tremendous. Those are in the days when there was just one goaltender primarily, too. And so a lot of the times the goaltender would get injured, go upstairs, get stitched up, whatever, and come right back in. And those are the days of Terry Sawchuk. So, I mean, to be able to play as long as he did and have that many career shutouts, these guys have a long way to go.
Of course, Patrick Waugh just broke Terry Sawchuk's record for career wins in the National Hockey League. But Belfour the last couple of years in the Western Conference Finals, Tom has outdueled Patrick Waugh. Penalty for a high stick is going to be called on this past play.
Well, this will be the first one to Dallas in quite a while, and the fans roaring their approval. I don't think a lot of people realize what had happened, but it will be the Wild that get a chance to go on the power plays as Joe Neuendijk is called for the high stick at 2 minutes and 21 seconds.
Neuendijk, the Conn Smythe Trophy winner in 1999 when Dallas won the Stanley Cup, defeating the Buffalo Sabres. He won it in '89 with the Calgary Flames, and he just lost control of the stick there and got Peter Bartos.
Yeah. Could have been called slashing also, but the high stick will be the call. Minnesota just going on their 4th power play of this game.
Ken Hitchcock, 4th fastest coach in NHL history to get to 200 wins in his coaching career. He has been absolutely a fine leader for this franchise, with Bob Gainey giving up the dual control as head coach and general manager. Ken Hitchcock coming in from the Michigan K-Wings and leading, as you said earlier, Tom, Dallas to 4 straight division championships, a couple of President's trophies, and a Stanley Cup. Kuba gets to the puck before Sergei Zubov. And in the neutral zone, Gabrick moves it ahead to Dowd. Dowd goes to the outside, gets it back towards the point, and Kuba deflected along the way, but Kuba gets it to Pellerin nonetheless, and he'll return the puck. Back to Scott Pellerin now. Pellerin gets it to Dowd. Dowd has Gabrick in front. Dowd has Sekrish at the point. Still holding on to the puck himself. Across nicely to Scott Pellerin. Pellerin towards Dowd and missed him on the backhand side. Dowd leaves it behind his legs. Sekrish bounces it to Gabrick. Gabrick behind the net to Pellerin. Pellerin bounces it to Gabrick, closed in on by Sergei Zubov to the point, and Kuba. Kuba shot deflected off the side of the net, defended by Ed Belfour, and Madonna with one hand will swipe it out of the zone.
Well, Minnesota being a little cautious also in this power play. They want to make sure they don't get caught or get themselves in a position where they're going to give a break to Dallas. So they'll play a little more defensive-minded and yet take those chances when they come.
Here comes Lubomir Sekrish dumping it in. Sergei Krivokrasov will dump towards Ed Belfour. To the point from Roost to Bombardier. Here is Bartos to Roost. And Roost will get it back to Peter Bartos. Closed in on, it's Stacy Roost behind the net. Bounces it to Andy Sutton. Swept towards the front of Belfour. Krivokrasov and Bartos were both there. Nonetheless, Dallas is able to clear the puck. Kirk Muller dumping it down the length of the ice.
I think they were both surprised the puck came to him that quickly with no one standing there.
Bombardier to Stacy Roost. Roost across the line. Big drive. Good save made by Belfour. And Hall bounces it out. Nieuwendyk's out of the box, and both teams are back at even strength. Stars 0 for 6 on the power play. Wild 0 for 4 with the man advantage. 15.5 minutes remains here in the third period. Brett Hall stood up at the blue line. Joe Nieuwendyk dumps it in on the backhand. Offside is called. Treasure Island Resort and Casino trivia question for this Sunday night. The Stars have had 3 #1 overall draft picks in their history.
Right.
Who were they? How many Stanley Cups did they win as players? Madonna, one of them. He won 1. Bobby Smith in 1978 won a cup in 1986 with the Calgary Flames. Brian Lawton, one of the top American players. If I'm not mistaken, Lawton might have been the first American ever to be drafted #1.
Smith was with Montreal.
Montreal, pardon me. Yeah, 86 with the Habs. Pardon me. Yeah, that was the year they beat the Calgary Flames. Thank you, partner. And well done, as our Treasure Island Resort and Casino trivia question winner gets an overnight package from our friends at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Bobby Smith in Phoenix now.
Yeah, and it says that, you know, they're pretty happy with the job he's done. And according to Wayne Gretzky, we're not looking to get rid of people now. We may add some people. And he said, I want to talk to Bobby and see exactly how he feels. And people who know will tell you he's done a pretty good job with that hockey team.
And you certainly don't want to be getting rid of your goalie, Sean Burke. Doug Jarvis, the Iron Man, 962 consecutive games played. He's awesome.
That he is.
Saw him play in a North Stars uniform. 13th year as a Stars assistant. And a member of 4 Stanley Cup champions. Nieuwendyk will take the face-off against Ed Belfour. Jim Dowd has been great on the draw here this evening. Nieuwendyk wins the draw, and Lukowicz gets it behind the net. Near side, Scott Pellerin gets it to Gabrick. Gabrick to Jim Dowd. Dowd in front of the net. Pellerin on the backhand just missed. He is hit hard by Kirk Muller. And play will go right on as Nieuwendyk will bring it out and through the neutral zone. Nieuwendyk, big windup. Shot just wide.
Boy, just wide is right.
To Manny Fernandez's glove hand side. Pellerin gets it back ahead to Gabrick. And Gabrick will wait in the neutral ice area. Nieuwendyk to Langenbrunner. Langenbrunner towards Manny Fernandez. Pellerin has it there. Manny just seems to be in control this evening. See how calmly he just left that for Pellerin?
Yeah, absolutely. But you see the pressure being put on there by Dallas. Had Gabrick just taken the puck over the red line and shot it in, it would have taken that pressure away. And he didn't do that. He tried to be a little cute with it, and that brought it right back into the Minnesota end.
High shot over the right shoulder of Fernandez, and here is Daryl Sador. Manny was at his best early in the second period when Brett Hall and company had an onslaught of scoring opportunities, including the 5-on-3 of over a minute's time. Zubov the shot. Hall will spin and gather control. Brett Hall Closed off by Darby Hendrickson. Zubov towards the net. Save made once, twice by Manny Fernandez. And Hendrickson kicks it aside. Benesic without a stick. And he kicks it with the skates. Now it's Brett Hull again. Hull flies it down low. Behind the net, Donato tried to wrap it around. Hendrickson sacrifices the body. Shot by Hull. Saved by Manny Fernandez.
Well, that really hurt there because Benesic did not have a stick. And when you're a defenseman, you need one. Didn't have one, and Manny comes up big.
Tonight belongs to this man here. Tom, last check, that man right there, Brett Hull, was tied for 7th all-time with 629 career goals, including the big season of '86, most ever by a right winger in NHL history. Messier, Steve Yzerman, and Brett Hull all tied at 629. Funny thing is, Hall said he's 16 goals up on Mario Lemieux, and he better keep scoring because Mario's coming back.
Brett wants to know why he's coming back. He said, I can't wait to get out of here. He's the only guy that misses the paychecks.
Sador, and the puck will go out of play. Brett Hull, obviously an outstanding goal scorer at every level, including when he spent his 2 seasons, 84-85, 85-86, with Minnesota Duluth. Led the WCHA in scoring that year, 52 goals, and played in the Olympics with the American team, which was a big bit of controversy up north of the border, wasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was. You know, he was a freshman of the year up there with Mike Sertic, but he's also one of those guys who had to really come into the NHL in the shadows of his dad and had to prove himself, and he has done that and more. He and his dad were the first father-son duo to win the same trophy, the Lady Byng, and also the Hart Trophy, and also the first father-son team to have 50 goals. Score 50 goals in the season. So he is, you know, that was really overshadowing when he was coming in. Everybody would refer to his dad. His dad, of course, his brother Dennis was, and Dennis used to say, you know, I'm Brett Hull's uncle. That's how he always talked. And Dennis had a hard, if not a harder shot than Bobby. The biggest thing was that he couldn't get the shot off quite as quickly as Bobby could. Bobby was just electrifying.
Modano the same in the game today, as electrifying as them both, and he leaves it for Sergei Zubov. Zubov tries to come across the line. Lubomir Sekrish will whip it down. Modano was pinching in, and the puck trickles back up towards Antti Laaksonen. Laaksonen in the neutral ice area flips it down towards Belfour, and Belfour leaves it for Daryl Sador. Sador in his 10th NHL season. Big gunner at Kamloops of the Western Hockey League with Ken Hitchcock, and a big-time presence on the blue line here for Hitchcock at the NHL level. Duluth zone, Jamie Langenbrunner gets it to Kirk Muller in front of the net. Puck is still free, and it's slid aside back to the near side boards. Behind the play is Gabrick, adjusts for it. Bad angle, looks for a passing lane, and he'll keep it himself. Trailing is Pellerin. He'll come in. Neuendijk try to tie him up, and Belfour way out of his net one more time. Gabrick able to come to the loose puck, but just for a moment, as 3 green-jerseyed Stars collide on it. Down in front of the net is Pellerin. Pellerin, Gabrick trying to close it off. Quick shot save made by Ed Belfour. This time he will hold on.
Well, that was a nice passing play all the way around, and what you're trying to do, as we talked about before, was get the shots coming from the point position. Pellerin had no place to go with it at the side of the net. And as you watch here, you'll see how they kind of set up here, moving along here. Keep on going here a little quicker perhaps. But watch here on the far side. All of a sudden, as the puck is not able to be cleared out, you'll watch here as a little pass comes to the side. Let's stop it right here. You're going to watch here. Here's the key right here. You can see the angle coming to here. It's pretty impossible to shoot at. Move it ahead here, and all of a sudden you watch as he looks, and then gives it right back. And look at the quick shot. A little bit too high. That's not what he wanted, but that was the play because everyone keys into where the puck carrier is, and the open man is back at the point.
Sutton gets it across, shot towards Belfour. Oh, almost knocked in by Stacey Roost. Crowd was on their feet. Bauk will get it back to the center ice area. And the puck is headmanned by the Minnesota Wild, and icing forthcoming. Lukowicz will touch. Tom, some interesting numbers here as you compare the Wild of 2000 to the North Stars of 1967. 33 years ago, the North Stars average size 5'11", 181 pounds. 30 of the 33 players in 1967 for the Minnesota North Stars were Canadian. In the year 2000, the Wild come in, averaging 6'1", 195 pounds, 22 Canadians, 10 Europeans, and 4 from the United States of America, all from the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, watch a little play right here. Almost made it 5 right here. There's a shot just a little bit wide. And once again, Darby standing right there. This line has performed very well. In fact, each of the lines have. But Minnesota has really been strong at the blue line. But you go back to what you're talking against, Mike. You have to be, for the most part, a big man to play in the game today. If you're under 5'10", boy, you're going to have a real difficult time. And I remember when I played.
You were bigger than the average guy.
Yes, I was, and I'm bigger now.
Yes,
but
you're bigger than the average guy. No, I meant now you're bigger than the average guy. No, I didn't. Across the line comes Hendrickson offside. But the game has changed.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these guys, the one thing that hasn't changed. Now, these guys are bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, they're skilled, they all shoot. Everybody on the team. It used to be if you had 3 or 4 guys who could shoot the puck pretty good on a team, that was a lot. All these guys can, including many of the goaltenders. But the one thing that has not changed is the size of the ice surface. And I'll tell you, as big as these guys get, it gets a little crowded, and putting the extra official on. Then there's a guy who's pretty big in his own right at 6'5", 230 pounds. And as we said before, he can be mean. But he has really kept his penalties in check this year. He's only drawn 30 minutes in 30 games. And usually he's one of those guys that will come to play. He'll grit it out, he'll fight, he'll do anything he has to win.
Now he is a definite captain and leader on this hockey team for Dallas, who have been to the Stanley Cup Finals each of the past 2 seasons. 98-99 President's Trophy winner for the best regular season record in the NHL, and they followed the 99 perfect record up with an opportunity to win Lord Stanley's Cup. Lost the year before as Detroit advanced to the Stanley Cup Finals and won back-to-back titles in 97 and 98. Wes Walz, former Detroit Red Wing, Calgary Flame, Boston Bruin, and now the captain of the Minnesota Wild. To the near side, and Brett Hall. Hall steps across, Walz steps right in, and up ahead of the play is Nielsen. Walking in on Belfour, fakes, shot, save made by Ed Belfour. Nielsen didn't quite get the move away that he wanted. Penalty's going to be called. We are going to step aside, and the score is still 4-0. And Saturdays now, 10 till 8. Santa Claus will be at the Hockey Lodge Wednesday when Ottawa is in town, the 22nd, from 4 to 5:30 p.m. Great gear for sale. And I'll tell you, still amongst the league's best in merchandise sold. The Minnesota Wild logo has caught on here in the Twin Cities. Long high pass over towards Langenbrunner. Hatcher had it taken away, and Roos will try to work. The penalty win against Sammy Halinas of Dallas, and so this is power play number 5 for the Minnesota Wild. Jim Dowd will start the breakout. Up ahead, Lubomir Sekrish. Sekrish through the neutral ice area, gets it over towards Pellerin. Pellerin dumps it down where Belfour will hold. Belfour to Darian Hatcher, and the puck is flipped right out of play. Darian Hatcher, physical as they come.
Well, I don't think there's any question. This is the guy that knows how to throw that weight around. You watch some of his checks with the National Hockey League.
Wow. When you say hello to that man, you say hello to a Mack truck. Hatcher, when he has a chance to line you up, he can line you up and throw you down. Darian Hatcher, in his 8 games this month, has kept his penalty minutes in check. 91-92, he played with the North Stars, Tom, as you remember, had 31 points in 110 games, 266 penalty minutes. Shot, save, Belfour.
And he plays tons of minutes.
Yeah. And he is a presence. You want to talk about shadows. I mean, he played in the shadows of Kevin when he first came out, and now he is the premier of the very talented brother combination, Kevin Hatcher and Darian Hatcher. To the point in Andy Sutton. He's got the size of Hatcher, some of the nastiness too, and he keeps it in and sends it towards Ed Belfour. Belfour leaves for Darian Hatcher. 43 seconds left in the power play. Hand pass and a whistle and a stoppage in play.
Well, that will bring the face-off just outside the blue line of the Dallas Stars. 8:33 to go. And also, you look at the shots on that right now by Dallas. 22 shots that they have had up to this point. After 2 periods, they had 17, so they've had 5 shots in just about 11 and a half minutes of this game. Minnesota 21 shots total.
You know, Tom, in the emotion of tonight, because it is the old North Stars, at least some of them in town, and you see the green star and you see the team that was taken away from the fine hockey fans in this state. What we should not overlook is that the Minnesota Wild have a 4-0 lead on one of the premier teams in the National Hockey League. Forget who it is and where it's from. Fact of the matter is this is a huge performance by the home team here this evening.
Well, it really is, and you want, of course, you want to fare well, especially in your own building. And there are, you know, I know that Jacques says no game is bigger than another game, but there is an emotional aspect of this to the side of the game too, and that's from the players. And the players can certainly feel that, and they read the papers, they listen to the TVs, they watch all the stuff that's being done, and they know full well that, you know, this is an opportunity they have to maybe settle a score and then go on to their own destiny as they start their inaugural season here in the NHL.
Aaron Gavey, the former star, gets it to Stacey Roos. Gabrick tried to get the shot away. Sekrish jumps on it. Penalty time has concluded. Score! Lubomir Sekrish off a Dallas stick and through the legs of Ed Belfour. 18,834 on their feet again.
Well, with Sekrish scoring this goal, they now have 5 players on this team who lead with 7 goals apiece. Watch here. See Roos taking the shot initially. Gabriel comes back to him. He can't get the shot away. It kind of deflects back, and all of a sudden, as you mentioned, it hit the Dallas defender's stick there, and that's going to happen as he just gets the stick out, and all of a sudden the shot coming. There's a little deflection, and it's in the net. And so, nonetheless, it's a goal for Minnesota. They lead 5-0. And Lukowicz, the guy who just kind of touched that puck just enough to change the direction.
7th goal of the year for 77, Lubomir Sekrish. 7:25 remains, and these fans are having the time of their life. Neuendijk shot, knocked down in front of Manny Fernandez. Towards Langenbrunner, no shot taken. Gabrick and Roost will gain the assist. Look at how many different players tonight, Tom, have contributed to this effort.
And the thing also, the way they've scored them, these are all even strength goals. None of these are power play goals, or, you know, they're not shorthanded. They're 5-on-5, and that bodes well for Minnesota. That's been one of their downsides this year, is they've not been able to score a lot of goals at 5-on-5, and tonight they're getting their chances with it.
Marian Gabrick leaves for Walls. Walls fakes the shot. Stick comes high from Halinas. Walls goes down. Halinas is headed to the penalty box.
And he knows that Walls made a nice play there, but Gabrick made a tremendous play just inside the blue line. And it looks like he may have been cut on that play. Oh, I'm not quite sure. Oh, he still had the cut from before. But he appears to be okay. It's going to be a 2-minute penalty.
Curse of the sea, Tom.
Yep, absolutely. And you watch here, all of a sudden, Minnesota doing a nice job of controlling the puck coming in here. And you see here, as Gabrick picks up, watch how he goes a little bit wide here, tries to pull the defender. He does right here, no place to go with it, but watch the little move he makes here. He spots Walls coming in, gives it to him. Now, he'll come in from the other side now, but by that point, the penalty was already called. But Gabrick doing a nice job. He is really learning the system of the National Hockey League with the Minnesota Wild.
So high sticking the call against Sammy Halinas. And power play number 6 forthcoming for Minnesota. And so many different guys have contributed to this effort, including that man, Wes Walls, caught again in the face. He had an assist on the first goal of the night from Jeff Nielsen.
And this will be the second stick infraction going against Halinas. He had a slashing a little bit earlier in this period. Now he's called for the high stick. And this is also the 3rd penalty in a row to Dallas. This will even things up in that department. Both teams now with Minnesota, they'll be they're 0 for 5 right now. Power play number 6.
Nielsen, Walls, Gavey the first goal. Gabrick, Benisic, Dowd the second goal. It was 2-0 after 1 period of play. Sekrish leaves it.
There's the chant for Norm.
Took a little while.
Thank you very much.
But they've concluded, and they've made sure they use the last name of Green. So yes, the fine mayor of St. Paul no longer has to be offended. Now, you know what? The fans have shown great class in how they've handled this afternoon, Tom, because what they've done is cheered for their team.
Yeah, they have, but they also wait till they get a 5-0 lead.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Norm Green no longer owns the team. Thomas Hicks does. I guess Alex Rodriguez owns part of the Stars, too, now.
Yeah.
Puck is cleared out. Then it was Bartos unassisted. Hendrickson, his 5th of the year from Antti Laaksonen at 13:41 of the second. Lubomir Sekrish a moment ago from Gabrick and Roost. I'm looking at my score sheet, Tom. Gabrick has 2 points. Look at all the different guys who have contributed to this victory tonight. Nielsen, Walls, Gavey, Gabrick, Benesic, Dowd, Bartos, Hendrickson, Laaksonen, Sekrish, Roost. Save made in front by Ed Belfour.
Boy, he did not know where it was either, and all of a sudden it trickled off his equipment, and Pellerin was standing right there, but didn't quite know where it was either. And Belfour was looking in behind him.
Ted Donato gets it back, and Daryl Sador will move it up and out of the zone. 18 seconds remains in the penalty to Sammy Halinas. Under 5 minutes remains here in regulation time.
Well, you mentioned the name Donato. Of course, he was part of that NCAA championship team that played here at the old Civic Center in the championship back in 1989 with Harvard, where he was the MVP of the tournament.
Back in 1989, also played with the U.S. Olympic team. Teddy Donato, one of the new stars for 2000, free agent signing. Puck dumped in and played behind by Belfour. 7 shutouts on the year, and the Wild have scored 5 goals against Dallas. Nielsen looking for the 6th. O'Donnell sends it towards the net. In front, score! Darby Hendrickson, his 2nd goal of the night.
I love this game.
Hope you were rolling the VCRs at home, everybody.
A night to remember. Well, were they going to be towels of joy, or were they going to be crying towels? Well, obviously, Minnesota right now with a 6-0 lead. Watch the play in front. We talk about getting the shot here. This is a great chance by Nielsen here initially, but watch as it goes back to the point. O'Donnell getting the puck onto the net. Once again, we watch right here. There's a deflection, just bounces up. Now, did it go off of Hatcher? I'm not quite sure. But nonetheless, regardless, it's in the net, and we'll wait for the official call of that because it was so close. And maybe O'Donnell gets credited for it, but this guy was standing right in front at the same time.
Only the 2nd time this year the Stars have allowed 6 goals, almost a 7th there by Nielsen. Stars back on October 25th lost 6-2 against the Vancouver Canucks. So the Wild have scored as many goals against the Dallas Stars as any team in the NHL has done this season.
Well, the 2 previous big goal scoring games for Minnesota was against Boston and also against Tampa Bay, where they scored 6 apiece in those games.
They are going to give the goal to Darby Hendrickson, his 2nd of the night and 6th of the season. O'Donnell and Nielsen will gain the assists. 6-0. Minnesota Wild, 6 even strength goals. 15:43 officially, the time of goal number 6.
Boy, Minnesota's done a nice job of coming out of their own zone in this game.
Hendrickson, shot save made by Belfour.
And did you see that rebound, Mike? It came right back out in front again and had to be cleared by the Dallas defenseman.
Who could have ever imagined that we would see this tonight? Step aside, 19th consecutive sellout, and Eddie Belfour has been hammered. 6-0. Minnesota Wild lead. It started with Jeff Nielsen. Then Marian Gabrick. 48 seconds later, 2nd period, Peter Bartos' 4th of the year. Darby Hendrickson, his 1st of 2 tonight. Lubomir Sekrish, his team tying 7th. And a moment ago, Darby Hendrickson, you will take them however you can get them. And on a day like today, for a kid who grew up right across the street in Richfield from the Met, what a special night indeed for Darby Hendrickson, his 5th and 6th goals of the season. Peter Bartos gets it towards Matt Johnson, who has contributed to tonight's win. Johnson hit by Daryl Sador, and he'll dump it right in. 2:33 remains here in regulation time. Johnson wants to go with 55, the rookie Tyler Bouk. In front towards Manny Fernandez. Now let's just get through the next
be a very good
24.
Match.
Yeah.
Not be a good match. And Johnson looked at him. I think he felt sorry for him. Just, I'm not going to do this.
Brett Hall. Gabrick. Towards Dowd. Watch out, Zubov. Zubov ahead. Shot. Save made. Rebound. It's not in. Somehow Manny Fernandez comes up again. Oh, my. out in front. Manny Fernandez, absolutely spectacular. Almost a critical turnover. Brett Hall, offside is called. 1:49 more. Let's get this kid what he deserves.
Manny, Manny, Manny is what they're chanting here right now, and rightfully so. Minnesota a little bit lax on clearing the puck out of their own zone. Almost results in that goose egg being broken. But Manny comes up big for this hockey team right now and makes about 3 saves. And when you're hot, you're hot. And he certainly was in that situation.
Looks like he might have tweaked himself a little bit, trying to stretch out after that great save a moment ago. Manny Fernandez against his old teammates with 23 saves on the night. Towards the point, the puck will come. Darian Hatcher has it, flips it on the backhand, bouncing puck to the side, and picked up by Sergei Krivokrasov. Krivokrasov towards Laxinen, and Benisic just kicks it into the zone. Laxinen overskates, Belfort touches. Delayed offside is still being called. Sammy Halinas will start to work it out of the zone. 1:20 remains. Halinas sends it in and around Manny Fernandez.
And what Dallas is playing for right now is just to get the shots on net, trying to get that shutout taken away. And that's where Minnesota's got to play smart also. They don't need any more goals, but they got to be smart about getting the puck into the zone.
The flurry in the second period, Tom, when it was 2-0 Wild, when Manny came up with about a half-dozen spectacular saves, might have been the true turning point of this contest, because right thereafter Peter Bartos scored, and the Wild have never looked back.
Well, when the Wild killed off that 2-man disadvantage, that was a big plus for them, a confidence builder we talked about. But their specialty team in that area has been superb tonight, and also their ability to score at even strength.
Langenbrunner, Hatcher, missed the net. Sador. Puck behind to Langenbrunner, trying to slide it to Neuendijk. O'Donnell clears it.
Well, we said time and time again, when you play against a team like the Wild expansion team, if you're not prepared to work hard and play hard, you're not going to win. And we're seeing that right now because Minnesota has worked harder.
In a seasons of first, this may be the brightest moment in franchise history so far. Sador, Langenbrunner, 7 seconds remains. 5 seconds remains. The Minnesota Wild have not only beaten, they have shut out the Dallas Stars 6-0. This is the state of hockey. And this night belongs to that young man.
Well, he does. He's part of a group of 20 players who deserve exactly what they're getting, and that's 2 points on the books. And you can see Jamie McLennan congratulating his partner, his teammate Fernandez, and he's one of the first guys out there. They have not scored the goals for Jamie. They have for Manny. Perhaps the next game that he gets in, they will. But this is a big builder, confidence-wise, for this team, not only from the players' perspective, but also from the fan base and all the people associated with the team. This is a tremendous, tremendous effort by the Minnesota Wild.
There were those who said, Tom, that their hearts still belonged to the North Stars and they just weren't ready to embrace the new team in town. I think a lot of hearts came over to the side of the Minnesota Wild here this evening to see how hard these young men fought. 3 stars of the game. Here's Jim Carroll. 2 goals for Darby Hendrickson. 3rd star of the game. The rookie, Marian Gaborik, a goal and an assist tonight. And undoubtedly the star of the game, 24 saves, make it 25. Manny Fernandez, our Pontiac GMC player of the game. The first ever meeting between the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild in front of a sold-out crowd of 18,834 becomes as memorable a night as there will ever be in this inaugural season in the state of hockey. Tom and I back to wrap things up right after this. In a season of firsts, tonight may have been the best as the Minnesota Wild defeat the Dallas Stars by a final score of 6-0. Our next game here on KMSP will be Friday against the Los Angeles Kings. We drop the puck at 7 o'clock. I'd like to remind you, the official clothier of the Minnesota Wild, the foursome in the Wayzata Bay Center. For Tom Reed and our fine crew, Mike Goldberg saying so long from the XL Energy Center. Wild win 6-0.